says he loves me. It's the truth. I was drunk that night. I was jealous. I was going after him. He put his hand up to stop me and I went down.
Is it your testimony that your husband is not abusive toward you?
Yes, 100%.
And that night was a private, personal interaction between two passionate people?
Absolutely. If anyone thinks that I'm sitting here right now because I'm afraid of AJ, it's not true. You don't know him. I do. He is a gentle, good man. He doesn't deserve this. Our family doesn't deserve this.
Thank you, Mrs. Martin.
Thank you for being here, Mrs. Martin. This must be difficult for you.
I'm fine.
Yes. Always, right?
Excuse me?
Everything is always good and fine in the Martin house.
It is.
I'm not going to replay that video for you. I'm sure that you have suffered through it enough.
Thank you.
I would just like to ask you a few questions about your relationship with AJ.
Okay.
You met him about 10 years ago when you were 21?
Yes.
And he was 35 toward the end of his playing career? And is it true that you had not had any significant relationships up until then?
I mean, I've had boyfriends in the past, but nothing that serious.
It's okay to answer truthfully.
Your Honor?
Get to it, Mr. Barba.
Is AJ your first serious relationship?
He's the love of my life. Still is.
It must have seemed like a fairy tale. You moved in with him after a few months, and you had AJ Jr. a few years later?
A few years, yeah.
You were a lifestyle reporter for the local TV news, but you gave that up, didn't you?
I did. Willingly.
How many close friends do you have besides AJ?
I'm close to my sister, to the other retired players' wives.
When was the last time you went out with a male friend? Or your girlfriends, or even just your sister without AJ being there? Is it fair to say your life revolves around AJ and your son?
I'm proud of that. I'm happy.
Even when your husband yells at you?
He doesn't yell at me.
Does he yell at your son?
He doesn't yell, he raises his voice. Because he wants AJ to listen, to behave, because he loves him.
The way he loves you?
Objection?
Rephrase. When AJ raises his voice at Junior, how does that make you feel?
What does it matter?
Mrs. Martin, when you see the look on your son's face, how does that make you feel?
You don't know what's right for me. What's right for our family.
I know it's not healthy to stay in an abusive relationship,
Don't
do you?
you lecture me. I'm not leaving him, and I don't care what any of you have to say.
Any of us? Have you heard this from your sister, maybe, or other girlfriends? Is that why you've lost touch with them?
No, no one said that.
Do you realize that you just looked at your husband before answering that question, Mrs. Martin? Were you that worried, even in open court, about how he'll react?
No.
Is that why you lied repeatedly to the police about what happened that night? Why you keep insisting that it's your fault that he knocked you unconscious? Don't look at him, Mrs. Martin. He can't answer for you. You need to answer for yourself.
I don't want to lose him. I don't want to lose my family. Why is that wrong? What gives you the right? Just leave us be, please.